Hi, welcome to Honey Break and Ghost Stories. I am Drea the Medium, and if you like gardening as well as the paranormal, this is the place for you. Over the last couple days, we've discussed a haunting that's occurred for both my cousin and I, and it's something else. But I did want to put this out there. If you have a haunting that you would like to speak on, but you don't want to do it yourself, please feel free to message me. I would be more than happy to share your story. We can redact names, all of the fun stuff. That was probably the wrong word to use. But as I was saying, feel free to message me and share your story with me, and we can put that on the podcast. Anywho, let's take a honey break and dive into this last part of the story. See you soon. Alright, so as we finished off last time, there was stuff going on in my cousin's house, but my cousin's stepdad gave my dad a gift from his deployment. And as I was explaining, we noticed a shift in our home, and it really wasn't in a subtle way. Now, mind you, we'd already been haunted. My Nana passed, and she had been with us in spirit since the day she passed. We lived in her home. Um, so she was very around. She was very comfortable. She had no issues showing her presence. It was really comforting in a way. She used to do little things like opening the door on her own. We'd always have to say just, "Hey Nana, carry on." It was that normal for us. There's even a point where she would turn on the oven or the stove in the middle of the night so that she can make herself something to eat, which was really common for her. And it got to the point where, for safety reasons, my parents had to replace the entire stove just to confuse my Nana's spirit. And she didn't like that very much. After the switch, we would hear the door slam multiple times, and she'd stomp around, she would make noises, and every once in a while, she would leave us little gifts here and there. It was very much up to par with her behavior, how she was when she was alive. And I loved that. It was just energy we were used to. And that's what I mean by this was different. Whatever came with that gift from deployment, it was not part of our bloodline. This was not something we randomly picked up out and about. This was something attached to that gift, which, if you recall, my uncle was SF, so the things he was doing, it really was not good. Um, which I think people would argue over, but that it's not a part of this. Anyways, we didn't make the connection at first. The energy was really dark. It was heavy. It started draining all of us, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even. There were financial problems that came from this energy. It was a problem. We didn't quite make the connection at first, like I was saying. I think I was around 13 or 14 when my uncle gave us that gift, and we didn't start putting the pieces together until I was around 18. That's how long that presence lingered in our lives, and it wasn't fun. The changes started subtle. It was like the vibe was off in the house. Then came tensions. There were arguments on a regular basis, which, mind you, there were 5 of us living there. But not only that, there were also shadows. My sister and I both experienced sleep paralysis. We would wake up, we would see somebody standing over our bed in our room, or we would see faces outside of our windows. Like, it was uncomfortable. It got to the point where my sister and I eventually started sleeping in the same room as my brother, just so that we didn't feel alone with it. It didn't feel like a haunting though. It felt more like whatever this thing was targeting each of us. I did start wondering where the things like that were happening to my mom happening because of, the universe, or God, whoever guides us, or was this spirit trying to isolate her? Because we had a lot of different things take place where it was just, it was good, but it was also not good, if that makes sense. The energy was really cold, calculated, really cruel. This gift sat next to my parents' bed, and I did notice it impacted them the most. And through this time, I know I was 18. My Nina's dad, my grandpa, he passed away, and it was interesting because in the middle of the grief, my mom decided to host a psychic night. So she would. Psychic nights are fun. Sorry, I get really excited over them because I host them now, and it feels like something that my mom has passed down to me. But she invited a medium friend of hers. We've known this man for years. We call him our Puerto Rican Poppy, and that's because he asked us to, I swear to God. But he is amazing. I don't really go to him for work anymore because he is older. He's seen multiple wars. He's in the queer community. He's a medium and a tarot reader. He's amazing, but he's also a nurse and works in the hospital and just devotes so much of his life to so many different things that I try not to reach out unless I truly need him around. And I think that's why he ended up being the person my mom reached out to at that point. Now, the way he works is pretty cool. He works with the angels. He does individual sessions, and he either pulls tarot or he channels directly. It just depends on what comes through in that moment. In my mom's session, he did tell her there were 3 child spirits around, and these 3 child spirits were attached to that gift. But there was also a 4th spirit, and it was much darker. It thrived on destruction, it fed on stress, conflict, and it attached itself essentially to us through that object. He ended up giving her a full list of things to do, how to cleanse, how to remove the attachment, how to get rid of the gift. And in that moment, I had to learn it as well because it wasn't just affecting her, it was affecting all of us. So it was important that I helped her, and I learned that this was different than just cleansing a space. This was setting boundaries, not just opening up a window and burning sage. This was dedication, day to day, multiple times a day, cleansings, salt, water, smoke, prayer, everything you can think of. We were doing these things for weeks. And I am proud of my mom. She did take it seriously. She disposed of the gift the way she was supposed to. And slowly but surely, things did start to shift. Air felt lighter. The sleep paralysis stopped for a bit, but that's a different story. That's my personal story. It's for next time. But we weren't walking on eggshells anymore, and that's when we realized like this wasn't just a haunting that we had gone through. That was spiritual warfare, and we won. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. I was only 18 at this point. I didn't know what to do. I was still learning. I was very overwhelmed with my own gifts. Like, it was a lot to take in, and we went through so much. And I don't fully believe it was that spirit, but I do believe that spirit had influences. And that's where we're going to leave the chapter for now. I know. I'm sorry. But if there's one thing I've learned through all of this, that it's not every haunting is about a place. Some attachments are energetic. They're tied to grief, to trauma, to objects. They can be attached to people. And if you don't know how to spot that, they can stick around a lot longer than they're welcome. Next time on the podcast, we are diving more into that exact topic, negative attachments, what they are, face them, because sometimes the haunting isn't just outside of us, it's what we do carry without realizing. So until then, I want you to take care of your space, take care of your spirit, take care of your energy. And as always, thank you for sharing this honey break with me. I will see you next time.